4 minutes. That's how long it takes after you close the door for your backyard to stop being what it was a second ago. We left a camera here, not for pretty shots, to see what happens when the audience, you, isn't expected. And the first thing we learned, the birds know you're gone. The only question is, how? Watch closely. This isn't staged. The moment that door clicked shut, something changed. Not obvious at first, but it changed. Birds that kept their distance a second ago start moving closer. First, just one, the boldest of the group, almost like she's checking whether you'll come back. A few seconds later, 2 more join her. And soon the whole yard behaves like you were never here at all. Scientists call this flight initiation distance, the point at which an animal decides a human is a threat and takes off. Every bird has its own threshold, and it depends on whether you're moving, whether you're looking their way, and, it turns out, on whether you've actually left. A bird watching you through a window is one situation. A bird that can't see you at all, that's a different one entirely. They're not guessing. They're calculating. Look at this great tit. For a few seconds, she tilts her head, tries different angles, and finally figures out a way to reach the food she couldn't get a moment ago. Then, a while later, another bird does the exact same thing, and then one more. Not every bird learns at the same speed, though. Some are still pecking at the old spot, getting nothing, not yet ready to copy what they've seen. This isn't a coincidence. It's a documented fact. In 2014, a team led by researcher Lucy Aplin run an experiment with great tits. A few birds were trained to open a feeder a specific way. The rest had no idea how. Over time, that method spread to other birds in the group, and the habit stuck around even after the original teachers had disappeared from the flock. It kept passing on like an actual tradition. In other words, your feeder isn't just a place where birds eat. It's a school, and the lessons never stop. No schedule, no you, no breaks. That bird you think of as just another guest at the feeder, she might be teaching the rest something she didn't know how to do herself a week ago. The camera caught something else, the sound of the door opening. Birds react instantly, scatter or freeze. That part's expected. But the sound of the neighbor's car driving by at the exact same time every day, the birds don't react at all. They're used to it. That sound is just background noise to them, not a threat. A sound that's never been there before, though, even a quiet one, sets off instant alarm through the whole flock. This isn't instinct. It's memory, built specifically around your house, your door, your street. And here's the part that matters more. When one bird sounds the alarm, the others don't stop to check if she's right. They fly. Because for a bird, it's safer to trust your neighbor than risk being wrong. They don't just hear the yard, they share what they heard. Your door and your car aren't the only things they've learned. Every day the same mail carrier walks up this path. The birds barely move. They've seen this pattern 100 times. Same time, same pace, same route. Not a threat, just part of the schedule. Then there's the cat. The neighbor's cat, to be exact. It doesn't make a sound. No footsteps, no rustling, nothing. But the second it appears at the fence line, the whole feeder empties in under 2 seconds. No warning call needed. They already know exactly what that silhouette means, sound or no sound. And the dog walker who passes every evening, the reaction depends on the dog. A calm one on a leash, barely a glance. A dog that pulls and barks, and the birds are gone before it's even halfway down the street. This is the part most people miss. It's not just you they've mapped out. It's the entire cast of characters who move through this street. Who's safe, who's routine, and who's a genuine threat. You think of your backyard as your own private space. To them, it's a stage. And they've been watching every character on it long before you ever set up that camera. You probably think you know which birds live at your feeder. By day 2 of filming, we realized you don't. Birds that used to grab a bite and bolt within seconds started sticking around longer, and species we'd barely seen at this feeder before began showing up like they'd always lived here. That doesn't mean they suddenly got braver. It means they recalculated the risk and decided that right now there's less of it than usual. A backyard without you runs on a different set of rules. The ones at the bottom of the hierarchy get to eat first for longer. The ones at the top show up earlier than they're used to, completely unbothered. Here's the strange part. Your presence doesn't make this yard safer for them. It makes it predictable. And predictable is exactly what they're willing to put up with you for. This is the shot we make these videos for. A crow flew straight up to the camera. Not the food, the camera. She tilted her head, tried to peck at the lens, backed off, and just kept watching. Several seconds, completely still. Head cocked to one side like she was working something out. This isn't fear, and it isn't a mistake. It's exploration. What ornithologists call exploratory behavior. Among backyard birds, crows are famous for exactly this. Smarter and more curious than most of their neighbors at the feeder. When they run into something unfamiliar in a familiar place, they don't avoid it. They check what it is. Here's the funny part. The same species that figure out new ways to reach food faster also tend to be more curious about unfamiliar objects. Curiosity and intelligence. Turns out they're the same trait, just showing up in different situations. The camera you hid to watch the birds without them. For a few seconds, it was the birds watching you. So, here's what this camera actually showed us. A bird that looks alone at the feeder isn't alone at all. She has neighbors who teach her new ways to reach the food. She has sounds she's learned specifically around your house. She has an entire cast of characters on your street. The mail carrier, the neighbor's cat, the dog on a leash. And she already has a response ready for each one, long before you ever gave them a second thought. She has alarms she trusts without checking. And she has curiosity that pulls her toward things she's never seen before. All of this was happening while you thought you'd just stepped out of the house. You set up this camera to watch the birds without them knowing. But for a few days, the roles flipped, and they were the ones watching you. We left this camera running longer than we planned, and on the third day, it caught something that made us go back and rethink the entire video from the beginning. That's coming in the next one.